I grew up in church my whole life. You know, my father was a pastor, and he passed away last year, June of last year. But in growing up in church and then also going into ministry myself, accepting the call to preach in 1994, being ordained as clergy in the year 2005, and just being in ministry as a youth pastor, as an associate minister, as a co-pastor, assistant pastor, all of these things. I found that over time that the average churchgoer does not have a full understanding of the big picture of what God, God's plan of salvation, what he's up to in sending Jesus. And the average person, when you think about God and the Bible, the Bible is a list of rules, right? Do's and don'ts, basic instructions before leaving Earth, all of those types of things. But to really get into uh, God's original intention for humanity, which God created us to live forever with him. That intention being thwarted for a period by Satan. And then the whole process, beginning in Genesis 3, where you get the first kernel of the gospel that God declares that he has a plan of salvation. And then you see the whole breadth of scripture from the Old Testament into the New Testament leading up to Jesus and his ministry, saying that all of scripture revolves around him, that he's the central figure in human history. And then going from his crucifixion and resurrection into the New Testament, all the way up to the end of the book of Revelation. And we're looking forward to his return. So clearly, there's a big picture. And Jesus says right at the center is him and his crucifixion and his resurrection. And so I wrote the book as a way to help Christians specifically, and those who may not be Christian, but they're curious about Jesus and the Bible, to help them understand the overarching grand narrative of Scripture, and then how resurrection is right at the center of that.